Good morning, students. Sairam. How all are you? I hope you all are fine and start learning and also making notes. So, students, chapter number first we have already done. Now, we are going to start our second chapter, which is forms of business organization. So, forms of business organization, chapter number 2. Student, in our country, our economy sector is divided into two parts, means our business organization is divided into two parts. First, you have to understand what are those two categories. First category is private sector and second one is public sector. Private sector means which is owned and governed by a private people, not by the government. And public companies, those companies or those organizations which are owned by the government. Okay, so private sector conclude number 1, sole traders, companies, partnership, cooperatives, other like franchisee. And companies are also divided into two parts, private limited company and public limited company. And the public sector is divided into three parts. Number 1 is public corporation, second local corporation, or we can say that local authority, and state services. Look students, in this chapter, in second chapter, we will only discuss about the private sector, which include or which are having 5 types: sole trading or we can say that sole proprietorship, company, or we can say that joint stock company, partnership, cooperatives, and others like franchising we will study in our last chapter, which is international trade. So today we leave this topic, okay? And the part of companies like private companies and public limited companies, we will also learn these topics in the previous chapters. Okay students, so let's start with the private sector, because this chapter includes only the private sector. So has private sector have 5 parts like sole proprietorship, partnership, Hindu undivided family, cooperative society, and company. Look students, sole proprietorship means when an individual person start a business is known as sole proprietorship. Sole means individual. Like the example of sole proprietorship is like grocery shop, any shopkeeper who is the sole or individual runner of that business. So it comes under the sole proprietorship, means that organization which is run, controlled, and managed by only one person is known as sole proprietorship. Second one is partnership. Partnership means when two or more people work together, okay, or start a business is known as partnership. Partnership means when two or more people join together and start a business is known as partnership. Next is joint Hindu family business, or its another name is Hindu undivided family. Students, Hindu undivided family means it is like a family business which runs from ancestors to the present generation. Okay, so the example of joint Hindu family, we can say that like any family business. Let's take an example. Suppose it is uh, a person started his business of making masalas, okay, masala or like spices, okay, and that run con- uh, and he run his business like a family business, means he appoint there the employees. And who are the employees? Their family members, who appoint their family members there as the employees and also share their profit with them. It is known as family business, means when a family start a business, doing a business is known as Hindu undivided family, and this family business only run in the India. Okay, next one is cooperative society. Cooperative society means when any uh, volunteers want to start a business for the welfare of society, not for the profit making, is known as cooperative society. Next and last one is company. Company means it is a artificial uh, person which is registered under the law, Companies Act, and the number of people are the less number of people are 7, and the more is unlimited, or we can say that in public company the number of peoples are more than 200, and in a private company the number of peoples are less than 200. Okay, now let's start with first point, which is sole proprietorship. As I said, when a single individual person own, manage his business and also control his business, and this type of form of business is known as sole proprietorship. As you see in that picture, both the shopkeepers run their business individually. Now, how can you judge that it is a sole proprietorship? Means what are the characteristics of sole proprietorship? So, how can you identify that this organization is a sole proprietorship? So, they are having some characteristics, like number one is single ownership, second, no sharing of profit and loss, next, one man's capital, next, unlimited liability, less legal formality, and one man control. So, student, number one is single ownership, means owned. Who own this business? The individual person. If any business owned by a single person, so that it is called a sole proprietorship. Second, no sharing a profit or loss. If the single or individual person own a business, then the profit or loss also bear by only a individual person. Next one is one man's capital. Individual person start a business, own a business, then only one man's capital is invested in that business. Next is unlimited liability. Look student, liability means the money which he borrow from anybody else, like from bank, from from their relatives, from any financial institution, and we have to return that money back. So what is it? This is liability. So unlimited liability. Look student, liabilities are of two type, limited and unlimited. Limited when the when money when the liability is distributed among the people and their payment is done only by the from the business, is known as limited liability. Unlimited liability means when the liability is only bear by a one person, and for their settlement, if the money is not enough from the business or from the profit, then he has to sell their own or personal products, own property, to fulfill or to repay their liability. Unlimited means when a person are not enough to pay whole amount of money, but due to unlimited liability, he has to pay from his personal assets for selling, by selling their personal assets, personal property, so that we can say that their liability is unlimited. Next one is less legal formality. No legal formality is required for their setup, so it is easy to start and easy to end. Next is one man control. It is also controlled by a one man, and he can easily quickly take their decision without any confusion. So it is control, managed, run by individual person. Now students, characteristics has done. Now advantages of sole proprietorship. Now what are the advantages of sole proprietorship? Number one, easy formation. As I said, no legal formalities are required for the registration of sole proprietorship organization. So it is very easy to start a business or to end the business. Next is better control. It is very convenient and better to control the business due to the only one individual owner. Okay, if because prompt decision is very e- uh, prompt decision is very smooth. I mean to say that if there is any situation and he wants to take a quick decision, prompt means quick decision, so it is very convenient to take a decision at that time. If there are two or more partners, then he have to consult with them, and after that he has to take decision. So it will be the reason of loss due to the delay in decision. So it is very easy, very flexible to take decision due to the one owner. Next is subject to favor regulation, means it is very easy because the single person is controlled, and rules and regulation is also followed by him. Next is no subject to corporate income tax. There is no problem to give the income tax, because exemption is also provided by the government for the sole proprietorship. Next, ownership of all profits, means all the profit comes under his pocket. He do not share his profit with another people, because the owner is only one, and he only take all the profit in his pocket. I hope you all have understood. Next is disadvantage. Look students, if there are merits, then as well demerits are also there. Number one is owner has unlimited liability. This is the another disadvantage, because single person is there, so all the losses, all the liability has to bear or repay only by a single individual person. So and if he is not able to repay by the profit of the organization or by the reserve of the organization, then he has to sell their personal asset to repay that. So it is a disadvantage become a sole proprietor. Now a student who is sole proprietor, who run a business, individual person, is known as sole proprietor. Now next is difficult to raise capital. Only single person is involved, so it is very difficult to raise capital. And what is capital? The amount of money invested in the money is known as capital. If two or more person involved, then they also invest there, but no one is there, only single individual person is run, so it is very difficult to raise capital. Next one is business has a limited resources. Student, business has a limited life, or we can say that limited resources. If the person dies or any illness, he is not able to conduct his business, so the business is also become slow or not in a continuation, so it become loss. or business has a limited resources. Limited resources means because due to the lack of capital, resources is also lacking because there is not enough money to purchase unlimited resources. Last one is difficult to do business beyond a certain size due to the exemption of tax. We have to the sole proprietor should contract their business to the limited area. If he want to expand his business, then he has to pay tax according to that. So it is very difficult to do a business beyond a certain size. Understood sole proprietorship, its features, its advantages and disadvantages. Look students, advantages and disadvantages are also known as merits and demerits. Now next part is joint Hindu family business. First part we have done, which is sole proprietorship. Now we will start joint Hindu family business. Okay, so student, joint Hindu family business means, which I said, it is a family business, and it is this form of business only found in India. So let's discuss. First point is comes into existence as per the Hindu Inheritance Act of India. This business comes under the act which is called Hindu Inheritance Act of India. Second point, it is the form of business found only in India. As that I said, this form of India is only found in this form of business only found in India only. Next is all members of the Hindu undivided family own the business jointly. Means all the whole family members work there and run their business jointly. Okay. Next point is the affairs of business are managed by the head of the family called Karta, and other members are called co-partners. Look students, if there is a company, then head of the company is called CEO. Okay, chief executive officer, or we can say if there is a partnership, they are called partners. One is a boss, one is a manager. But now in the joint Hindu family business, the head of the family means according to the age. According to the age, the elder one is the head of the family, means like grandfather or great grandfather. If he is alive, then he is the head of the family, and which is called Karta. The head of the family is known as Karta, and Karta is who control, run and manage whole the business, and he only is having the authority to take decision. Okay, and he only uh, um, distribute the profit among their family members, and their family members in this joint Hindu family called co-partners. Head of the family means according to the age is known as Karta, and other people known as co-partners. Look student, if there is a child who recently born in that joint Hindu family business, so his partnership is also start from the birth of that child, whether it is a minor means below the age of 18 or not. Understood? At the time of birth, the partnership is also confirmed in his Hindu family business. So students, now features of joint Hindu family business. There are also features, merits and demerits. Merits and demerits means advantages and disadvantages. Number one is membership by birth. That I said, if there is a one child who born recently, then his partnership is also confirmed at that time. So their membership as a co-partner is confirmed by the birth. Next one is management. It is managed by the family members only and fully controlled by the Karta. And who is the Karta? Head of the family. Next is liability. All the liability is bear by the karta. Okay, next is no maximum limit. There is no maximum limit of expansion or contraction of business because they already registered under the act. Next is minor member. Look student, minor member means less than the age of 18 is not become the part of any business, but in joint Hindu family, whether it is a minor or not, he will become the part of the co-partner or become the co-partner by its birth. Next is unaffected by death. Look student, like sole proprietorship affected by the death of that member who run their business, but now in joint Hindu family it is not affected by the death of any um, like death of karta, because after the passing of that person, the karta, the the next one who is bigger, means who has the um, more age or bigger in that family become the karta. Okay, and it is also unaffected due to the, it is also because it is managed by the family members. I hope you all have understand these points. Now students, advantages of joint Hindu family business or Hindu undivided family. Number one is every co-partner has a assured share in profit. Every co-partner, whether it is a minor or not or infant, they have the share in that profit. This is the advantage. Business has continued existence. It is not affected by any death or any mishappening. It continued in the existence because this business is run by the family members. And another karta is another elder one become the karta after the passing of that karta. Next is decision making is quick as a power with the karta. Karta is the whole soul person who control all the work, and the power, decision taking power is in the hand of karta, so it is very quick to take a decision. Next is no corporate tax. It is exempt from the tax. So in joint Hindu family business you do not need to pay any tax. Next, people use it mostly for tax benefit these days. These days this type of joint Hindu family business is run only due to the benefit of exemption of tax. Okay students, now disadvantage of joint Hindu family business. Students, there is as I said, if there is advantages then disadvantages are also there. So number one is absolute power in the hand of karta. All the power of taking decision is in the hand of karta, means sometimes maybe he become partial or take any decision which is not acceptable by all the family members and which create the reason for conflicts. So that means it misuse his power, maybe he misuse his power. So the first disadvantage is the absolute power is in the hand of karta. Next is instability. Look student, there is an instability due to the we can say that laziness of all family members, because all family members involved there, so the fear of incompleteness of work is not there, competition is not there, so there is an instability in that business. Next one is limited resources can be raised. Limited resources can be raised only and the reason behind it that the only karta has to invest, means karta or the one family has to invest in their resources, so it is so the raising of resources are limited. Next one is scope for conflict. There is a big scope of conflict. As I said in the first point, maybe karta become partial, or we can say that he misuse his power, so it become a scope for conflict. So student, in this video we will complete our we we completed our two topics, sole proprietorship and joint Hindu family business. Now three topics are left, so these three topics we will continue in our next video. Okay students, make notes. I will provide you the PDF of notes in my along with this video. Okay students, be safe at home, start learning. Sairam.